Welcome back into the Cherry Pinstripe podcast. My name is Shelfy, and today we got lots of baseball news to go over. We have winter meetings coming up right around the corner. It's that time of year. The stove has been slowly starting to heat up. You see the Dodgers making moves. There's lots of rumors we're going to dive into today. The Phillies, they've been active in the winter meetings before. With where the rumors are right now, I'm expecting a ton of activity with Dame Dombrowski and the Phillies up there. I personally hope that something, we'll get into it, happens before the winter meetings so that we can get to phase 2 of this at the winter meetings. But we're just going to get right into it. The Garrett Crochet trade. Again, we have more reports, we have more rumors, we have more specifics that have leaked since the last time we discussed this. The rumor mill is saying right now that it's Justin Crawford, Alec Boehm, and they're also discussing kickers of Eduardo Tate and Starling Caba of that nature. This, in my opinion, we're now entering overpay territory with this particular rumor. Not sure if you're familiar with Eduardo Tate, the young catcher the Phillies have, this Venezuelan kid. That swing is pure. I'm not saying you can't trade a guy like that, a teenager in single A, but that's not your kicker third guy. That's not a third guy you throw into a deal as a kicker. If we're talking about Boehm and Justin Crawford here, I think that third player's got to come down a notch. But like we discussed in the last podcast, I'm so in on Garrett Crochet. I want this deal to get done so badly. I can just see it. This guy is going to be a dominant postseason pitcher. At some point when the opportunity presents itself, I could see him entering into that like Mad Bum, Chris Sale, Andrew Miller type of like, his stuff, man, is so nasty. It is the definition of put away pitch. It's the definition of swing and miss. It's 2 strikeouts an inning against any lineup in the league. 200 strikeouts on less than 150 innings is absurd. And I know there's concerns there with the arm. He did have the Tommy John. They've built him up out of the bullpen. But personally, I think he's been built up perfect at this point. I think that him refusing the pitch in the playoffs was the best thing for him long term. Wasn't the best thing for the White Sox. And it does throw a wrench in things a little bit because I've seen the question marks about the health. But I think they've built him up well. They've limited the innings. They've stretched the starts out slowly but surely. They haven't overworked him. I could see him jumping up to the 170 inning mark. So 170, maybe 100 inning mark this upcoming season. Then that last year of arbitration, maybe you just unleash it. Maybe you just unhitch the trailer and let him go. But next season, he's going to be pushing to up that number. He wants to progressively build up to ace status by the time he hits the market. That's Garrett Crochet's plan long term. I'll tell you that right now. He wants to hit the free agency market as a bona fide stud. And you don't get to that status unless you get to that 180 plus inning mark. And he's going to slowly work his way up there. He's slowly built from bullpen to starter. Now he's gone from starter to he can actually get deep into games. Now, how many games a year can he get deep in the games is the next step. And I want him doing that in red pinstripes in South Philly. If it's Boehm, Justin Crawford, and a kicker, I think I'm pulling the trigger on that. But the biggest thing with this, in my opinion, at this point is getting it done quick. You don't want to wait too long and make this trade in January or February and half of your third base options are now gone. Because this is a team that you have to plug the hole. The third base hole has to be plugged afterwards. There's no trading out. You're making a move for third base after the trade, because moving into the second part of this podcast now, who's at third? You make the trade. You get Garrett Crochet. Boehm's in Chicago. Who's playing third? I liked the idea of throwing Bregman in there. Don't love that price tag that leaked out on the internet, though. Like, hard no for me if that's the price. That could just be Scott Boras doing his thing. But a lot of the time, Scott Boras yaps his mouth. He gets what he wants. We've seen the Trey Turner hype video. Everyone's seen it. And the Phillies are willing to go that extra mile. So that concerns me a little bit. I don't want the replacement for Boehm to be that steep of an overpay. I would be willing to overpay if there was someone there that made sense. That big of an overpay, though, I don't want to pay him for his MVP caliber seasons from 2019. I want to pay him for what he's been the last 3 or 4 years. And if you want to extend the years to get that done, that's fine. But we're not giving him $35 million a year. Come on. 35 million. Come on. $300 million. Stop it. What else can you do? I like bridge players in this situation because you can always circle to trades later. There's always going to be potential trades later. There might not be anything right now. You could be looking for a third baseman or a utility infielder at the deadline next year, at the trade deadline. So, maybe a Moncada, somebody that has some talent. Maybe you just give him a change of scenery, at least a spring training invite. There's a guy, Gio Urshela, out there that I like. At least he's going to show up with his glove. He can be a bridge at least to the trade deadline. We'll see what we have. Weston Wilson, someone who played well for the Phillies last year. Maybe he gets an opportunity for more at-bats. I don't know. I am very concerned that Bregman price tag shot up, though, because he is the optimal fill-in if you can get him at a reasonable price. A trade might be the move. Or you just go from desperately needing a left fielder to third base is your weak spot now, and you go trade for Brent Rooker. Now, I'm already riled up here, but before we move on, Blitzball battle. Here from my friend Chris Rose.
The playoffs continue on. Blitzball Battle 5. It's the 3-6 matchup between the defending champion McFlurry Power and We Got Ice. Not only is McFlurry Power in line to successfully defend their Blitzball crown, they are still in line to win the inaugural Warehouse Cup. On the other side of things, We Got Ice. Don't get that skunk on your jersey.
Right, there's been so many issues with Jack. What are we going to get from Jack Doyle today?
And I think with the defending champs, I feel like they're in a pretty good place.
Always going to be able to pitch. Will they swing the bats?
I'm going to go ahead and take Team McFlurry Power. The fact that they still have a chance at the Cup, we know how competitive they get.
I don't think I've picked one right for the whole tournament. So I'm going to pick McFlurry Power because I'm wrong most of the time.
We will see you later today for Game 11. It's postseason time. Blitzball Battle 5.
Moving into the outfield now. Brent Rooker's the only guy that makes sense to me out of all of the outfielders that are on the market. We've heard Cody Bellinger's name thrown out there. We've heard Jake McCarthy's name thrown out there. We've heard Luis Roberts' name thrown out there. We don't need a lefty. We need right-handed thump. We're missing right-handed thump. JT Miramuto's gone down. Hoskins is in Milwaukee. Castellanos is only getting older. Bohm concerns me in big slots. We need a right-handed bat. If you're going to trade Bohm for Crochet, you either need to upgrade third or you need to upgrade left field. It needs to be a right-handed stick, and I am getting more and more excited about the option for Brent Rooker. I don't know how you could potentially do a Garrett Crochet and a Brent Rooker. That's probably not going to happen. It could. I don't think you can do it without trading Andrew Painter, so it's most likely not going to happen. But like I've been saying all offseason, like I said as soon as the season ended, this team has options. There's things that they can do here at third base and left field, but the domino effect is going to be Garrett Crochet at the end of the day. It seems like this Garrett Crochet deal is going to, if that happens, you're going to see a bunch of moves that follow with this team. Will it happen? I don't know. Let's say they move on from Garrett Crochet. It isn't going to happen. Let's say Alec Bohm is staying here, or maybe Alec Bohm's in a Brent Rooker deal. I don't know what they're going to pivot to, so it's hard to even make that assumption. But let's discuss the other part of this team that is open conversation right now, and that's the platoon in the outfield. Reports are out that Dave Dombrowski and the Phillies are excited to have Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas come back next year as a platoon in the outfield. Now, I just want to say, you're going to have to platoon one of these positions, whether it's center field, left field, third base. Hypothetically, of course, if Bohm's here, you're not platooning third. But if Bohm's gone, you might have to. One of these positions has to get platooned. You're not getting a locked-in, solidified player at every position. I had this conversation on Twitter with someone last week. Center field is a premier position. You got to have a premier player. No, you don't. Just watch the Dodgers win the World Series with a rotational outfield. Kevin Kiermaier thought he was going to get innings. Tommy Edman started raking. Here, look, you go play center. Center field, yes, it's a premier position, but there are a lot of premier defenders. There are a lot of premier defenders. There's not that many two-way center fielders. There's only a handful. Julio Rodriguez, Aaron Judge, Jackson Merle. But these guys are on arbitration for other teams. They're not obtainable. You can't go get those guys. They're not available. And that's why everyone's so obsessed with the Lubob trade. But that health thing with him really scares me. It really, really scares me. I'm off Lubob because he just doesn't play enough. So you can't really make a huge splash at center field. It's just not realistic. That's always my question at center field. Who are you getting? If we're making a big splash at center field, if that's the position we're making a big upgrade, who is it? There isn't any. Center field's probably the position you have to platoon. This team, best foot forward in 2025, is you upgrade left field and you run that platoon in center. Because at the end of the day, even if Marsh and Rojas don't improve offensively, that you're getting more defensively from those two. These are two very good defensive players. Rojas in sprint speed is faster than Trey Turner now. And Trey Turner is still in the 97, 98 percentile. I'm okay with the defense platoon in center, but it has to, absolutely has to come with an upgrade in left. You can't go into the season with Bohm at third and a question mark in left. That is a dangerous place to be next season. And it all just comes back to Brent Rooker for me. He's the guy. If this Garrett Crochet thing falls through, I am blowing that phone up. I might get my number blocked. Brent Rooker's the guy. It's the perfect piece. It's the perfect fit. There's going to be a lot of subtopics with the Phillies in 2025. You may even consider them distractions. JT Realmuto is going to be in his final year of his contract. Kyle Schwarber is going to be in the final year of his contract. Ranger Suarez is in his last year of arbitration. The Bohm situation, if he's still here, 2 years left, there's going to be a lot of prove it going on with the Phillies in 2025. But sometimes competition and prove it contract scenarios can bring the best out of people. So maybe we get a big year from JT. Maybe JT gets one last hoorah on the last year of his deal and goes and gets $20 million from someone on a 1 year next year, or a 2 year $40 from someone else next year. He goes out with a bang. There are pieces here. There's going to be a lot of guys on this Phillies team next year that are going to be playing for money. There are not that many holes that need to be plugged at the end of the day. I know I'm Mr. Optimistic, but it's the truth. There are not that many holes to plug at the end of the day. This rotation, for what it is right now, and the top of this lineup for what it is right now, they're going to be in the mix. The Braves are going to be back. The Phillies might not win the division next year, but they're going to be in the wild card hunt at the bare minimum. So make some upgrades to this team. We got holes to plug. Winter meetings is right around the corner. I need to see what this team's going to do. I'm pumped up. There's so many avenues they could go down, but it seems like the Garrett Crochet domino needs to fall first. What's it going to take? Who's going to get it done? The Phillies aren't even the only team in on Garrett Crochet. The Red Sox make a lot of sense, and we've seen them sign Aroldis Chapman this morning, so they're now making moves. They're making moves. Sometimes you make the small moves before the big moves if it makes sense. I'm just saying. There's going to be teams active. The winter meetings are coming. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, hit that like button down below. Again, make sure you check out Blitzball Battle, by the way. Blitzball Battle? Did you hear from my friend Chris Rose? Now, before we wrap it up, we got to give our dog of the week to my man, John Middleton. John Middleton. All of this drama with the Dodgers in baseball land right now, deferred contracts. Is it good for baseball? Is it bad for baseball? Listen, my biggest critique of baseball is that there's a whole lot of owners that should be at least spending a little bit more money. Like, I think it would be absurd if the Pirates, with what they have and Paul Skeens coming up, they don't go at least get one veteran on that team. It would be absurd. I'm just glad that I am a fan of a team that has an owner who woke up one day right before Bryce Harper became a free agent and decided, I'm going to start pushing these tax thresholds. I'm going to start investing in this team. I want to fill these bleachers up again because it's been empty for 7 years. And we're going to go win some games. And for the last half decade, despite the fact that they haven't won the World Series, they have been in the mix. They've been to the World Series. They've been to the NLCS multiple times. They've won the division now. And every single offseason, no matter how it ends, this team's looking to upgrade the team. And they're doing it again now. They added more investors for the team in 2025. They, again, are looking to push another tax threshold when just a couple years ago they had never gone over any of them. They're pushing them now. I love this guy. Shout out John Middleton. Good for baseball. Good for Phillies fans. He's the dog of the week. So again, the domino that needs to fall is the Garrett Crochet domino. Once that pillar tips, the rest of them will follow. What route will the Phillies go? Will other teams impact what the Phillies do? Winter meetings are coming. If you guys enjoyed the podcast, hit that like button down below. Again, go check out Blitzball Battle if you haven't already. Just saying. It's a good time. See you guys in the next one. I'm out.